Good afternoon, Stela Cole. Welcome on VH Berries.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here and to be talking to you.
I am extremely grateful because the artisanship of yesterday's memories is static, but nonetheless the saviors of tomorrow's mist, circulating from letters to rhythms. How are you doing today?
I loved everything about what you just said. That was awesome. I'm doing great. I'm just happy to be here and happy to be talking to you about music stuff. So, yeah, how are you doing?
I am doing very good. And from the very first touch towards your art, the wooden texture sparking over the roof of your presence is equalizing the top and bottom side of every dice and establishing a recollection of 16 tracks that I have the honor to call mine in my music library. As I Die Where You Begin.
Yes. That is so I Die Where You Begin is my debut album, and I'm so excited it's out in the world. And I'm so happy that you like it. 16 tracks is definitely like a longer, lengthier album, but I'm so happy that it's out in the world, and I don't know, I feel like it marks like the beginning of my career in a way. So I'm so happy that you like it, and I'm really excited to talk about it.
Absolutely, Stela Cole, and I would love to extensively discuss about that debut album, a body of work that channels your healing into a new artistic direction. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, definitely. So I think up until this point in my career, I feel like everything was kind of me experimenting and figuring out what I wanted to say and how I wanted to tell my story. And I love all the music that I had up until this point, but the whole point of I Die Where You Begin is to talk about all the situations that I was dealing with just in the process of growing up, and how and why I am the way I am today. And it's about the cycle of toxic, abusive, negative, broken relationships. And that can be relationships that you have with a partner or a friend or a family member or even mental health or yourself. For me, it was more like partner kind of relationships and me struggling with OCD, and how when you're kind of in the middle of a cycle and the ups and downs of everything, it feels isolating and scary and impossible to escape. So the album has a pretty big range because it covers the heartbreaking moments of just like sadness and feeling lost and out of control. But it also has a lot of empowering moments that are fueled by adrenaline and knowing that you deserve better and wanting to do better for yourself. But then after those moments, it's kind of a question of, are you going to overcome it and escape the cycle, or are you going to relapse back into the same kind of situation over and over again? So the whole album and the story that it tells is very much a cycle. And it's kind of about who you sacrifice yourself to and who you lose yourself to. Hence the title, I Die Where You Begin.
Absolutely, Stela Cole. This is all about who you lose yourself toward to. And you're giving a new lecture concerning your own emotions, because I feel that you just unlocked a cardinal ability to describe the complexity of your emotions.
Definitely. I feel like this album kind of marks the beginning of my career in a way, and I'm super proud of everything that I've put up until this point, but I feel like because I was stuck, I kept putting myself in the same positions over and over again, and I was stuck in the cycle, and I kind of could only write about one thing for the longest time, and I was super hateful and angry and resentful in my music. So I think that this album really helped me break free of that and heal a lot as a human. And now when I write about my life, I'm able to come at my songwriting from a much more like diverse lens of emotions, instead of just anger, I guess, which I think is really healthy. So, yeah, I feel like it, marks the beginning of my music, but also like a healing era for me, which is awesome. And I hope that it does the same for people who listen to it too.
Furthermore, Stela Cole, the very first striking impression of that project is the 1-to-1 ratio artwork that captures the essence of the 11 gallon of diesel fueling your energy. Can you tell us a little bit more about the album cover of I Die, Where You Begin?
Absolutely. I think that the album cover, I wanted it to be dark, and I didn't want it to look like I was like dead necessarily, but I wanted it to feel heavy and dramatic just to kind of capture how intense the title itself is, I Die Where You Begin. So I loved that it was me literally laying on top of like a bar top, and I just look a little bit lifeless, and yeah, I feel like it just represents the title super well. And I also so my first single that I put out for this album was called Die Hard. And Die Hard, the whole music video is me in a bar with my love interest, who I keep going back to, and that it takes place at a bar. And so I kind of wanted the album title to also be a full circle moment where I'm giving a nod to Die Hard a little bit, but it also is like a newer, interesting take of that kind of scene. So yeah, that was kind of the inspiration behind why we chose the album artwork for I Die Where You Begin.
Absolutely, Stela Cole. And to give a visual description behind yourself on the cover, we can see a wall of liquor bottles that are lining the shelves, hinting at emotional escapism. And below the counter, everyday grocery items with cereals, snacks, and canned goods that contrast with the vintage Hollywood styling above. And I also noticed a copy of the Los Angeles Times newspapers.
The LA Times magazine was actually crazy, or the newspaper clipping. That was just a random prop that happened to be on set, and so that ended up being a perfect little touch just because I am based in Los Angeles. So I loved that. But yeah, the alcohol in the back was definitely that I feel it kind of hit the nail on the head with when it comes to turning to vices, especially when you're just struggling in life. I feel like we all have vices, and even if they might look a little different, I feel like that kind of represented that. And then the snacks down at the bottom, we actually had to kind of like blur those out a little bit, so if you look closely, like you can see a little bit what the titles are, but we blurred them out so we also wouldn't get in trouble for like branding stuff. But yeah, the like liquor in the back and the newspaper were like those were kind of important pieces of how I wanted the art to present itself. So yeah.
The newspaper was an important element to include in the album cover, Stela Cole. And that artwork is building the tension between self-mythology and vulnerability, which leads me to compare that aspect with, in my opinion, the two best tracks of the album, which are Bunny Love and Midnight Killer. Can you tell us a little bit more about the creative process and the secret ingredient of those two musics?
Absolutely. I'm so glad that those are your favorites. Oh my gosh. I that makes me so happy. I actually get really excited when I hear people saying that different songs are their favorites. I think if everyone picked the same one, I would be a little bit anxious about it. I'd be like, "Oh my god, are all the other songs not good enough?" But that makes me so happy that you love Bunny Love and Midnight Killer. Those are definitely some of my favorites as well. Midnight Killer, that was actually the second single that came out in the rollout of I Die Where You Begin. And that song was a super important piece of the cycle. That song represents the moment that you wake up and you realize that you deserve better and that you have not been treated right, and that you've been surrounding yourself with the wrong people and putting yourself in the wrong situations. And it's about that moment of courage when you finally are able to leave and love yourself enough to get yourself out of that situation. So that was kind of, I guess, what I wrote that song about. And I wanted the production of it to feel equally dramatic. And so it's kind of like the intro and the verse are building up, and then all of a sudden the chorus explodes when you announce, I'm a midnight killer. Like I know who I am now, and I'm not going to make these same mistakes over and over again. So that was kind of how that song got written and the place that it came from. And then Bunny Love is that song for me, and like the cycle of a relationship is kind of towards the beginning, or I guess not the beginning of a relationship, the middle of a relationship, where it's like you're starting to pick up on some red flags and you're starting to realize maybe this isn't my person, but you're so physically attracted to them and that chemistry is all the way there. So you're just like, maybe we can fix this just through like physical touch and just stuff like that. So you ignore all of the things that you should really be focusing on to make the relationship stronger, or to call it quits and know that that's not the right person for you. So it's kind of about the ignorance is bliss mindset of just wanting to be with someone just to be with them, even if it's right or not. Yes. And I wanted that song to feel super cinematic and romantic sounding, just because that song for me is about being in like Lilu La mode of not caring. And I feel like the production is so beautiful in like fantasy worlds that it's like a little break from reality, if that makes sense. So that was kind of why I wanted the production to feel that way. And that is what Bunny Love is about.
Absolutely, Stela Cole. And as you just mentioned, the title Midnight Killer is all about having the courage to leave a relationship. And I am soon going to leave the album I Die Where You Begin to redirect myself towards the deluxe version coming very soon this fall. What could the world expect from that second round of dessert and ice cream?
I love that you just called it that. That's what it feels like to me, for sure. It's like a sweet little treat. It's like the bow at the end of the storyline. For me, it just feels like a perfect extension and completion of the album. Like I already feel like the album is done, but I have just a couple more songs that I feel like were really important for the writing process and really, just kind of put a bow on everything. And one of the songs, I'll just go ahead and say, is called Glazed. And interestingly enough, Glazed actually has the lyric, I Die Where You Begin, written in it. And so that song actually was kind of what inspired the title of my album. It just for the longest time was not in a place where I was envisioning it. And so it's taken me a long time to kind of regroup and reproduce it out and retrack vocals and make it feel how the rest of the record feels. Because I actually wrote that one really early on when I was still kind of experimenting what I wanted the album to sound like. So I think it'll be a really beautiful full circle moment for Glazed to be on the deluxe. And then the other song, which I've actually started to leak online a little bit, is called Baby Blue Bronco. I'm just telling you everything. I'm like, I can't hide anything. I just really can't. But Baby Blue Bronco is just a song that I'm head over heels in love with. I love the melodies. I love the production. kind of has this eerie storyline built into it that I feel like really fits the sonic world and the lyrical realm of I Die Where You Begin. So that one just feels like an extension of the record. So I think having those two on the deluxe are going to be a really beautiful way to kind of close out that chapter. Yeah.
Absolutely, Stela Cole. The song called Glazed is going to be a full circle moment, and I assume that you're going to play it very soon at the City Winery Boston, a venue in which you will be performing both on September the 3rd and the 4th.
Okay, so I actually will not be playing there. So there's there's actually another artist named Stela Cole. And she's incredible, but we have definitely had some issues with confusing live shows, which is a bummer, but it is what it is, and she's so unbelievably talented. She's an incredible jazz singer, so I'm so sorry if that confused you. Oh my gosh. But aside from that not being my show, I absolutely will be playing Glazed live at some point, as soon as I'm able to do my next tour or do a spotlight show. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about that potentially getting confused, but yeah, that's the tea on that. I guess there's no tea, but hell yeah.
Absolutely, Stela Cole. So we won't have a performance with Glaze in that specific place. And no. I am very interested about the tour that you did at the very beginning of that release, because I feel that this is something that is very close to your heart. Can you tell us a little bit more about your relationship with the stage?
Absolutely. Singing is my favorite thing in the entire world. And I love to just connect with people through live music. So that was something that I had been wanting to do since the second I started getting into music and became an artist. I'm like, I just want to tour. I just want to play shows. And I definitely was getting impatient early on in my career when I was still experimenting. And I wanted to do my tour way earlier than when I ended up doing it. But looking back, I'm really glad that I waited for this body of work before I started touring, just because, once again, I feel like it kind of establishes who I want to be for the rest of my career. So getting to finally tour and have my debut album also be my debut tour just felt like the perfect combination. And I love my fans so much. I talk to them almost every single day. So getting to finally meet people that I talk to online every single day face to face was one of the most incredible things I've ever experienced, and just getting to give my fans hugs and sign stuff and getting to sing for them and connect with them through the songs that we've already been connecting with just online and stuff was really, really beautiful. And I get such a rush being on stage. The adrenaline that I get from performing is unlike any other, and I cannot wait to do it again. It's definitely expensive, but as soon as I'm able to, I want to get back out on the road, and I want to continue to meet and connect with more and more people all around the world through my debut album and through music in general. So yeah, it was a really awesome experience.
If I understood correctly, Stela Cole, you're really enjoying the stage, and when you're touring, you're shape-shifting into the woman of the hour as you step on stage.
Absolutely. I love that you just said that. I do feel like it's like Stela Cole it's me. It's not necessarily like a character that I play, but it is the most confident, empowered version of myself that I feel like I can look up to anytime I'm feeling self-conscious or not having my best day. I feel like Stela Cole has just become this rock in my life and the best version of myself that I can always pull from when I need her. And she comes out in my music, obviously, but when I walk on stage, the mental switch that happens is so crazy. Like, I feel like I black out on stage, and not in a bad way. Like, I'm having the time of my life. I'm fully locked in to the Stela Cole version of myself. And I feel unstoppable in those moments. And that's something that I sometimes remind myself of when I really need to feel inspired or empowered, or just reminded that, you know, I'm doing okay. Like, I'm making it through life. But yeah.
Absolutely, Stela Cole, you're making it through life. And the words Woman of the Hours are actually the name of a previous project that you released a few years back. And I feel that it planted the seed of your present radiance. Can you tell us a little bit more about writing that project and that line in the song, The Day It Rained in Southern California, in which you're saying, the day it rained in Southern California was the day I let my hair fall off my shoulders.
Yeah, so dang. The Woman of the Hour EP was the first time in my career that I feel like I had landed on something that I could like really evolve into, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I Dowry Begin is like I'm fully locked in now. But Woman of the Hour was the first time where I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm on to something. Like, I need to continue leaning into this and continue growing and see what this evolution looks like. And it was about a very real, dark time in my life where I was struggling a lot. And so it hits very, very close to home to me still today. Every time I listen to it, I'm like, wow, I was going through it. But The Day It Rained in Southern California is a really special song to me because up until that point, I had not written a song about mental health. And The Day It Rained in Southern California is about like anxiety and just the struggle of feeling like perfection is impossible to reach as a human being, but just feeling like I'm never enough, and that no matter how hard I try, I'm constantly making mistakes, and I just can't be perfect. And it's about how draining and relentless that feels, and how dark and isolating just living inside of your head and being your own worst enemy can feel. And so the title, The Day It Rained in Southern California, is kind of about the moment in your life where you're just able to let go and you're able to just breathe and be like, you know what? It's okay. Nobody's perfect. No one's supposed to be perfect. And I just like, I'm here and I'm okay. And I can just breathe. So yeah, that's kind of what that song is about. But the title inspiration came from just how it actually like rarely rains in Southern California. But when it does, it freaking pours. It's actually by this artist named Albert Hammond. It Never Rains in Southern California. That is a song like from the 70s that I grew up loving. And so I kind of took that song title and flipped it to The Day It Rains in Southern California. And then I wrote the rest of the song about, mental health and kind of what it means for me. So.
Absolutely, Stela Cole, you're here and you're okay. And you're also often at the recording studio because this is, I believe, your favorite place anywhere in the planet. And you're very happy near those acoustic architecture and technical equipment.
Yes, I am. Besides, I feel like I just love everything about music, honestly. Like, I could do it every day for the rest of my life and have nothing to complain about. But besides performing and singing, writing music is just one of my favorite feelings in the world. Like, there's nothing that tops the feeling of writing a good song. yeah, there's nothing that can describe it. It's like this, it almost feels like you're on drugs. Like when you walk out of the studio and you're like, dang, I wrote a like potential hit today. Like I feel, I feel high. Like I don't know how else to describe it. And I know other artists and songwriters and producers can relate to that, but it's just this magical feeling. And I wish that I could just sometimes lock myself in the studio and never come out. It makes me that happy. But yeah, and I just love being around organic instruments. The more and more I evolve into my art, I continue to fall in love with like guitars and organic drums and like a Rhodes keyboard or like the Mellotron. Like I really love sounds from the 60s and 70s and more organic leaning productions. So one of my dreams one day is to be able to walk into like a massive recording studio with every guitar you can think of and every mic you can think of, and just like have a week to go in with my best friends and just create from scratch. I don't know. I could spend the rest of my life in the studio. I love it.
In definitive, Stela Cole, you are catching every spark of organic drums and guitars, the same way you catched soccer balls as Georgia's best goalkeeper from October 1997 to December 2010.
I am really honored that you said best goalkeeper. I don't know if that's true, but I'll take it. Yeah, I love that connection that you just made. That was crazy. Yeah, it's actually, soccer was my first love growing up. And I still, when I look back, some of my favorite memories I've ever made to this day were when I played soccer and when I played sports. And I think one of my favorite parallels that I've been able to connect is the camaraderie. Growing up on a team, you have to work with all different kinds of people. And at the end of the day, you're all trying to win. So finding ways to work together and navigate through obstacles, that's how you win. And I feel like music, while it's very different, that is a similarity, because you're working, like, I'm not the only person behind Stela Cole. It's like I have an entire village of people that help me create and put my music out and tour and run the whole thing. Like my manager and I are like he's my ride or die. But you know, between him and the producers and my distributors and songwriters, friends and family who have supported me, like every single piece of my team, it's like it's that, like, that's a team, and you have to learn how to navigate and operate the best with each other. And you know, it's not always easy. So I think a lot of the times I'm pulling from the mentality that I had when I used to play sports and kind of bringing that into my musical space. And it really helps me navigate a lot of things through my journey of becoming, hopefully, a superstar someday. But yeah, I love sports. Love sports.
Absolutely, Stela Cole. You went from playing as a goalkeeper in a soccer team to having an injury that led you to start music, to now having an entire team and village trying to win with Stela Vision LCC, coming straight from your Stela imagination, Stela eyesight, and Stel awareness of the market dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a journey. It's been the craziest journey of my life. And I don't think, like, I think that the 10-year overnight success, like, that is such a real thing. You know, like, superstars do not happen just out of thin air. Like, it takes years and years of preparation and work. And I'm just grateful that I have the foundation that I do. And I'm grateful that I have my support system that I do, because holy shit, living the dream is amazing, but it's a marathon. And I'm just happy to be here and happy to have my my people with me along the way.
You're happy to have those people along the way with you, Stela Cole. And what would you say are going to be your upcoming ambitions and goals with the Stela Vision Records and Stela Vision LCC?
I know. I'm already building my next record right now, which I'm super excited about. I'm already writing with my favorite producers and songwriters, building that out. So I think my vision is to just keep elevating everything that I've built. And I would love to continue touring, hopefully add in some festivals into the mix. And I would love to do my first international tour, like within the next year and a half, 2 years. I think that would be amazing. So yeah, I think for me, at the end of the day, it's just about putting out good music, being consistent, and just finding ways to elevate. So that's the goal.
That is the goal. And in conclusion, I am looking forward to enjoy and celebrate the upcoming deluxe version of your album, I Die Where You Begin, knowing the fact that you won't be at the City Winery Boston in early September.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I am also grateful as VH Berries is reaching episode 250 and that centennial milestone with your help today. Thank you very much, Stela Cole.
Thank you so much for having me, Victor. This was wonderful. I had the best time. You asked amazing questions, and yeah, I hope we get to chat and hang again at some point soon. And thanks everyone who's watching this and listening.